Now that the DCEU's Flash has finally made his way to the big screen, it's time for a face-off between two movie speedsters. So let's just figure out who would win in a fight. Quicksilver from the MCU or the Flash from the DCEU? First off, let's take a look at their powers and abilities. Now, both characters are super fast, but they have different strengths and weaknesses. Quicksilver in the MCU is played by Evan Peters, and he was actually introduced all the way back in X-Men: Days of Future Past. In the comics, Quicksilver is known for being able to run at superhuman speeds and possesses enhanced agility, reflexes, and durability. He can also accelerate his metabolism and his healing factor, which makes him age slower than humans do. He's pretty much immortal. However, in the MCU, his powers seem to be limited when it comes to how fast he can run. And it seems that his max speed is around Mach 1.8, which is about 1267 miles per hour. Even though this is way faster than the fastest man alive here on Earth, it's still way slower than other speedsters from the comics like the Flash or Superman. And don't forget that Quicksilver doesn't have any superpowers other than super speed. He can't fly, he's not super strong, and he doesn't have any special abilities other than being fast. On the other hand, the Flash in the DCEU is played by Ezra Miller, and he is known for being one of the fastest beings in the universe. The Flash has similar powers to Quicksilver, like super speed and accelerated healing, but he also has some additional abilities. He can also vibrate his molecules, so he can turn invisible, phase through solid objects, and even create sonic vibrations. He can use his powers to enhance his strength, allowing him to lift heavy objects and break through solid surfaces with ease. But unlike Quicksilver, the Flash is very inexperienced when it comes to using his powers. In the beginning of the movie, he is not sure how fast he can really go, and he accidentally causes blackouts every time he uses his super speed. He literally has to go through training in order to learn how to control his powers properly. Even after training, he gets exhausted pretty quickly when he runs at superhuman speeds. And even though he does eventually become one of the fastest people in the DC universe, he's still nowhere near his comic book counterpart just yet. So now that we know more about each character, let's get into the fight. Who do you think would win? Well, since both characters have super speed, the first thing that I think would happen is that they would try to attack each other by throwing punches, while they rerunning at superhuman speeds. This would definitely cause some serious damage, since both of these guys are moving incredibly fast, and they not holding back. However, I think that Quicksilver would actually be the one to land the first hit. Because he has been fighting way longer than the Flash, and he has more experience when it comes to fighting other superpowered beings. Not only that, but Quicksilver can also accelerate his metabolism and his healing factor, which makes him age slower than humans do. So he's actually much older than he looks. This means that he has more experience fighting, and he knows how to use his body better than the Flash. But then again, the Flash does have a few tricks up his sleeve that Quicksilver doesn't have, like vibrating his molecules to turn invisible. This could be a game changer, because if the Flash vibrates his molecules fast enough, he could completely avoid Quicksilver's attacks, and maybe even get a few hits in himself. However, this takes a lot of concentration, and the Flash is still pretty new when it comes to using his powers. So I don't think that he would be able to do this right away. Instead, I think that Quicksilver would be able to land a few hits on the Flash before he is able to turn invisible. Another thing to consider is the fact that the Flash has super speed sight, which allows him to see everything around him at super slow motion. This gives him the ability to plan ahead and make split-second decisions that could change the outcome of a battle. This could be a major advantage against Quicksilver because it would allow the Flash to predict his opponents' moves before they even happen. However, again, the Flash is not really used to using his powers, so it might take him a little bit of time to get used to it. Speaking of time, there's another advantage that Quicksilver has over the Flash, and that's the fact that he can actually manipulate time to an extent, When he runs at super speed, time slows down for everyone else. This means that if Quicksilver wanted to, he could just run away from the Flash and basically be untouchable. However, Quicksilver isn't really known for being the smartest guy out there. He's kind of like the muscle of the team. So I don't think that he would actually use his time manipulation ability. Instead, he would probably just keep punching the Flash until he's too exhausted to keep fighting. That being said, the Flash does have one last trick up his sleeve that could turn the tables in his favor, and that's his negative speed force powers. The negative speed force is basically the opposite of the speed force, which is the source of the Flash's power. The negative speed force is a realm of antimatter that gives those who tap into it the ability to move at negative speeds. Now, don't ask me how science works, because I have no idea. All I know is that when the Flash runs at negative speeds, he can actually go backwards in time. This could be a game changer in this fight, because if the Flash is able to tap into his negative speed force powers, he could basically undo everything that happened and maybe even get a few hits in on Quicksilver before he ever even had a chance to attack. However, this takes a lot of energy and concentration, and the Flash is still pretty inexperienced when it comes to using his powers. So I don't think that he would be able to do this right away. If anything, this would probably happen towards the end of the fight if the Flash is desperate enough. So let's take all of these factors into account and determine a winner. Personally, I think that Quicksilver would probably win this fight if it were to happen. Don't get me wrong, the Flash is definitely a powerful character, and he has some amazing abilities. But I think that Quicksilver's experience and strength would give him the edge in this particular matchup. Plus, let's not forget that Quicksilver can actually manipulate time to a small degree. So even if the Flash tries to use his negative speed force powers to go back in time and change the outcome of the fight, Quicksilver might be able to use his time manipulation abilities to prevent this from happening. At the end of the day, it's really anyone's guess as to who would win this fight. It's going to depend on a lot of factors like the environment and the character's motivations. But if I had to choose a winner, I would probably have to go with Quicksilver. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, then be sure to subscribe and check out the rest of my content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.